There comes a point where your spirit whispers, a truth your mind has been trying to outrun. You're tired, not the tired sleep can fix, not the tired that disappears after a day of silence. You're tired in a way that feels spiritual, emotional, invisible. You've been showing up for everything and everyone, even when you had nothing left to pour. And now your soul is asking for something deeper, not motivation, not positivity, not another moment of pretending you're fine. What you need right now is release. Release from the pressure. Release from the inner chaos. Release from the weight that has been slowly eating away at your strength. This moment is not just a prayer. It's a reset, a spiritual exhale, a place where God steps into the space you've been trying so hard to hold together on your own. So breathe. Let your shoulders drop. Let your heart soften. And prepare to receive a restoration you desperately need but rarely ask for. God is near. You're safe here. And what has been draining you is losing its power. There's the exhaustion that sits deeper than the bones. The kind that makes your thoughts heavy, your emotions unpredictable, and your prayers feel weak. You've been feeling it, even if you haven't said it out loud. You keep pushing. You keep trying. But something inside you has been whispering, I can't keep carrying all this alone. And you're right. You can't. You weren't meant to. Human strength has limits, but God's strength doesn't. You are not failing. You are not slacking. You are not spiritually weak. You are drained because you've been pouring into everything while receiving almost nothing back. God sees the weight on your heart. He sees the part of you that feels stretched, unsteady, overwhelmed, and overextended. And He's telling you now, you're allowed to stop pretending you're okay. Your mind is tired. Your soul is tired. Your body is tired. But God is not disappointed in you for that. He is coming to refill you. Slowly, deeply, gently, in ways your spirit hasn't felt in a long time. There are moments when you sit in silence and feel like something inside you is crumbling. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly. The kind of quiet collapse nobody sees. You show up with a smile. You try to stay strong. You keep functioning because life doesn't pause just because you're not okay. But God has seen every moment you held back tears. Every time your chest felt tight from stress. Every night your mind wouldn't rest. Every morning you woke up already tired. He has seen the hidden breaking, and He is not ignoring it. He comes exactly to the places you've been silently falling apart, not to judge you, not to pressure you, not to tell you to be strong, but to lift what your heart cannot hold anymore. He knows the emotional knots you can't untangle. He knows the spiritual fatigue that makes it hard to pray sometimes. He knows the heaviness that follows you even when everything seems fine. And instead of saying, try harder, He says, let me restore you. Because God doesn't need you to be perfect. He just needs you to be open. Right now, He is entering the part of your life that feels too heavy, too messy, too exhausting to explain. He is stepping into the space where you've been quietly falling apart. And He is carrying what has been draining you for far too long. There are things you carry that no one knows about. Not because you're hiding, but because you're tired of explaining pain that doesn't have clear words. You carry the pressure to keep functioning. You carry the responsibility to be the strong one. You carry the silent fear that if you let go for even a moment, everything might fall apart. But just because you can carry the weight doesn't mean you should. Some of what you're holding was never meant to be yours in the first place. There are expectations placed on you that drain your joy. There are relationships that take and take while offering nothing back. There are memories that replay when you're alone and leave you exhausted by morning. And then there's the emotional tension you walk around with. The guilt, the pressure, the disappointment, the fear of letting people down. The fear of not doing enough. The fear of looking weak. But hear this clearly. God never asked you to live suffocating under burdens He didn't give you. People gave you those weights. Life gave you those weights. Trauma, old beliefs and old wounds gave you those weights. And now God is saying, you don't have to keep carrying what I never asked you to hold. He knows the pressure you're under. He knows the emotional exhaustion that hits you out of nowhere. He knows the internal battles you've been fighting quietly, hoping no one notices. And He's not shaming you for it. He's not asking you to be stronger. He's not asking you to pretend. He's asking you to release, to let go, to finally breathe. Because you can't heal while holding everything in. You can't grow while dragging old weight. You can't feel God's peace while clinging to things that drain your soul. This is the moment where you learn to let go. Not because you're giving up, but because you finally understand that you deserve to feel light again. When your spirit is drained, it's usually not from one big thing. It's from 100 small things that pile up. The unspoken frustrations, the disappointments you swallow, the responsibilities you didn't ask for, the boundaries you were too tired to set, the conversations that left you empty, the memories that reopen old wounds, the expectations that suffocate your peace. These little pieces add up until suddenly you're not yourself anymore. You feel irritated easily. You feel overwhelmed by small tasks. You feel disconnected from your own emotions. You feel like your internal battery never charges fully. But God is stepping into those tiny, draining areas, the ones people never notice, the ones you've been ignoring. And He's clearing them out one by one. He is removing the emotional clutter. He is healing the tension in your heart. He is loosening the grip of things that drain you. He is breaking the spiritual exhaustion that has been lingering for months. God is restoring clarity to your mind, calm to your emotions, strength to your spirit, lightness to your soul. Because you were never created to live in constant depletion. You were created to live with His strength flowing through you. Strength that doesn't dry up. Strength that doesn't burn out. Strength that doesn't depend on your circumstances. And right now, God is exchanging your exhaustion for renewal, your heaviness for His peace, your chaos for His order, your overwhelm for His calm. This is where the draining stops. This is where your spirit begins to rise again. There comes a point where holding on becomes more painful than letting go. Not because you're weak, not because you're giving up, but because your soul finally recognizes, I cannot carry this anymore. Some things you're attached to emotionally are draining you spiritually. Some habits you've normalized are quietly breaking your peace. Some people you still care about are not aligned with your growth. Some expectations you placed on yourself were never realistic to begin with. And yet you kept holding on, hoping it would get better, hoping you would adjust, hoping the weight would feel lighter over time. But it didn't. It got heavier because it wasn't meant for the version of you that God is building right now. Letting go is not about losing. Letting go is about trusting. Trusting that God removes what drains you so He can make room for what strengthens you. You may not realize this yet, but you are evolving. Your spirit is stretching. Your mindset is shifting. Your inner world is changing. And anything that cannot grow with you will start to feel uncomfortable. It will start to feel heavy. It will start to feel draining. That's not a sign of failure. That's a sign of elevation. There are seasons where God doesn't ask you to fight harder. He asks you to stop fighting altogether, to stop carrying people who refuse to lift themselves, to stop forcing things that don't align, to stop pouring into what gives nothing back, to stop apologizing for needing rest, peace, and emotional space. When your spirit is tired, release becomes necessary. Release becomes healing. Release becomes obedience. And even if you don't know what comes next, God does. He knows what you need. He knows where you're going. He knows who and what cannot go with you. This is the moment you accept that not everything is meant to stay, and not everything is meant to drain you. You've been giving so much of yourself away. Your patience, your emotional energy, your mental space, your time, your compassion. And somewhere along the way, you forgot that you also deserve the same care you pour into others. You forgot that your spirit needs to be fed too. You forgot that your peace is not optional. But you're stepping into a season where God is reminding you of your worth, your strength, and your right to feel whole again. This is not just a moment of recovery. This is a moment of reclamation. You are reclaiming your mental clarity. You are reclaiming your emotional space. You are reclaiming your spiritual strength. You are reclaiming your ability to feel joy without guilt. You are reclaiming your boundaries without fear. Somewhere deep down, a part of you has been whispering, I want my peace back. I want myself back. I want to feel grounded again. That whisper is becoming louder, stronger, more certain. God is pouring new strength into you. Strength that doesn't crumble under stress. Strength that stands firm even when life feels unpredictable. He is rebuilding you from the inside out, calming your mind, settling your emotions, repairing your energy, and restoring your balance. Every place where you felt empty, He is filling. Every place where you felt drained, He is replenishing. Every place where you felt broken, He is repairing. There is a quiet revival happening within you. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady and holy. And the more you release what drains you, the more space God has to pour strength, clarity, and peace back into you. You are rising again, slowly, gently, but undeniably. There are moments when you don't even realize you've been living in cycles. Cycles of giving too much. Cycles of carrying what isn't yours. Cycles of always being the strong one. Cycles of pretending you're okay when something inside you has been collapsing quietly. But hear this. God is interrupting the cycle. Every pattern that has been slowly draining you, He's exposing it. Every place where you've been pouring out without being poured into, He's correcting it. Every person you've been carrying at the cost of your own peace, He's removing the emotional hooks. Every situation that has been demanding your energy but feeding you nothing, He's shutting the door. Because you weren't created to live half alive. You weren't created to survive on empty. You weren't created to be spiritually dehydrated, emotionally exhausted, or mentally stretched beyond your breaking point. God has watched you try to hold everything together. He's seen you show up even when your heart felt heavy. He's seen you push through when your spirit felt invisible. He's seen you pour out love in places that never poured anything back. But today, this cycle ends. God is restoring balance to your spirit. He's teaching you how to stop carrying what isn't yours. He's training your heart to release instead of suppress. He's strengthening you to walk away from draining environments without guilt. He's reminding you that boundaries are not rejection. They are protection. And right now, in this moment, God is breaking the invisible patterns that kept you tired even when you rested, stressed even when life was calm, overwhelmed even when nothing was happening. Because the battle wasn't around you. It was within you. And God is healing that. He is reaching into the deep parts of you, the parts you don't talk about, the parts you've ignored, the parts that kept screaming for rest while you kept saying, I'm fine. You're not going back to that drained version of yourself. Listen carefully. God is removing the burdens that were never meant to stay. He's cutting the emotional cords to things and people you've outgrown. He's breaking the soul ties to stress, worry, pressure, and fear. He's shifting the weight off your chest and putting peace back in its place. This is the moment things turn. This is the moment your spirit gets lighter. This is the moment God breaks the cycle that's been suffocating your strength. Breathe, because what has been draining you is losing its power over you right now. There are moments in life when the heaviness you feel isn't even from your own life. You've taken on other people's storms, other people's fears, other people's expectations, other people's emotional weight. You didn't do it because you're weak. You did it because you care deeply. Because you're the kind of person who doesn't like to see anyone struggle. Because when someone needs strength, you naturally offer yours, even when no one notices how much it drains you. But hear this clearly. Not every weight is yours to carry. Some of the heaviness attached itself to you quietly, through loyalty, through love, through wanting to help. But the truth is, your spirit was never designed to be responsible for everyone else's storms. You've been absorbing emotions that don't belong to you. You've been feeling responsible for things that are outside your power. You've been trying to fix people who haven't decided to heal themselves. And that's why you feel stretched thin. That's why you feel like your mind has been running when you haven't moved. That's why your heart feels heavier at random moments. But today, not tomorrow, not eventually. Today, God steps into that space and whispers, release what was never yours. Release the guilt of stepping back. Release the fear of disappointing people who don't carry you. Release the pressure of trying to hold up lives that were never meant to rest on your shoulders. Because the strength you've been giving away, you need it now. You need it to rebuild. You need it to breathe. You need it to reconnect with who you are beneath the noise. Today, God is calling you back into emotional alignment, back into spiritual clarity, back into truth. And the truth is simple. You cannot heal others by breaking yourself. You cannot pour endlessly and still expect your heart to function. You cannot stay strong for everyone else while pretending you're not hurting. This is the moment where you begin to release. Intentionally, gently, honestly, not because you're giving up, but because you're finally choosing yourself again. And God honors that. God strengthens that. God breathes into that. This is your turning point. The moment where what's been draining you finally loses its grip. There's a unique kind of exhaustion that hits when your heart has been stretched beyond its limit. Not just physically tired, not just emotionally overwhelmed, but that deep internal fatigue, the kind that makes you sigh without realizing it, the kind that makes your spirit feel thin. You've been surviving off fragments, leftover energy from yesterday, leftover peace from last year, leftover hope from seasons when life felt lighter. You've been trying to function on emotional fumes, showing up, trying, pushing, praying, hoping, all while feeling like something inside you has been quietly fraying. But here's what you need to understand. God never created you to run on empty. Running on empty distorts your thoughts. It weakens your confidence. It makes you question your worth. It makes you assume you're failing when in reality, you're simply drained. When your heart is empty, you begin to misinterpret everything. Small problems feel impossible. Minor disappointments feel personal. Simple decisions feel exhausting. But the truth is not that you're lost. The truth is that you're depleted. And today, God meets you right there. Not in perfection, not in strength, not in the moments where you pretend you're fine. He meets you in the empty places, the places no one sees, the places you push down so you can function. The places where depletion lived quietly inside you. God steps into those spaces and says, I will refill you. Not temporarily, not halfway, not in a way that fades by next week, but fully, deeply, completely. You're not being restored just to survive. You're being restored so you can rise, so you can breathe without heaviness, so you can feel without fear, so you can think clearly again. So your heart can beat without feeling weighed down. This is the beginning of your internal reset. Your heart learning how to feel safe again. Your mind learning how to trust again. Your soul learning how to rest again. And God is walking you through that process, breath by breath, moment by moment, step by step. This is where the healing deepens. This is where the release becomes real. This is where the weight that exhausted you finally begins to loosen. There are weights you were never built to lift, and deep down, your spirit knows it. Yet, life has a way of convincing you that you have to be the strong one, the responsible one, the dependable one, the one who always holds everything together. But today, God is interrupting that lie. You've been carrying burdens that were meant to be surrendered. You've been holding emotions that were meant to be released. You've been trying to fix things that only God Himself can heal. And here's the truth you've been avoiding. You cannot carry everything and still expect your spirit to stay whole. There is a limit. There is a breaking point. And you're closer to it than you admit. But the beautiful thing is, God steps in exactly at this point. Not when you collapse. Not when you break. Not when you've lost yourself completely. He steps in the moment your spirit whispers, "I can't keep holding this." Because that whisper is not weakness. It's surrender. And surrender is the exact doorway where God's strength enters. So right now, just for a moment, let the weight slip off your shoulders. Let yourself breathe without the pressure. Let yourself exist without performing strength. Let yourself feel without pretending. You don't have to be the hero here. You don't have to be the rescuer, the fixer, the peacekeeper. You can let God be God. He's lifting the weight you've been silently dragging. He's untying the knots in your chest. He's calming the shaking place inside you that you thought nobody noticed. You are not supposed to carry the guilt, the pressure, the silent responsibilities, the emotional fatigue, the constant fear of letting people down, the exhaustion of always choosing to be fine. God is lifting it. You just have to stop grabbing it back. This is where the heaviness leaves you. This is where the breath returns to your lungs. This is where the pressure finally breaks. Let Him hold what has been holding you down. You are not losing control. You are finally giving it to the one who can handle what you can't. There are things you've been holding on to simply because you were afraid of what life would look like without them. A habit, a fear, a memory, a relationship, a responsibility, a pattern you've learned to tolerate even though it drains you. But hear this clearly. Your spirit has outgrown what your heart is still trying to hold together. Not everything falling away is loss. Some things are being removed because they were slowly consuming you. God is clearing. The emotional pressure you normalized, the thoughts that steal your peace, the cycles that make you doubt your worth, the expectations that aren't yours, the heaviness that wasn't meant to be part of your identity. You've been trying to push yourself through exhaustion, telling yourself to just deal with it, telling yourself, "I'll be fine," telling yourself, "I don't want to be a burden." But exhaustion is not your destiny. Carrying everyone else's weight is not your assignment. Surviving on empty is not God's plan for you. You're stepping out of what drains you and stepping into what restores you. This is the moment your spirit finally catches up to the truth. What God is removing is exactly what has been keeping you tired. Let it fall away. Let it detach. Let Him close the chapters that have been slowly breaking you. This is not the end of you. This is the end of what has been draining you. Close your eyes. Breathe. Let this settle into your spirit. God, I release everything that is draining me, everything that is too heavy, everything that steals my peace silently, everything I've been carrying because I didn't know how to let go. Take the weight out of my chest. Quiet the anxiety that whispers lies. Lift the pressure I've been trying to hide. Restore my strength. Refresh my spirit. Reset my mind. I surrender what I cannot fix. I surrender what I cannot carry. I surrender what is not mine. Cover me with peace that goes deeper than understanding. Fill me with calm where there has been chaos. Give me clarity where there has been confusion. Thank you for fighting battles I cannot see. Thank you for removing what drains me. Thank you for holding me when I feel tired. I receive your rest. I receive your renewal. I receive your peace. Amen. Now breathe again. Let the release happen. If you feel lighter right now, it's not in your imagination. Your body felt the shift. Your spirit felt the release. Your mind felt the loosening. You are not walking back into this week the same way you came in. This time, you're not carrying everything. You're not solving everything. You're not forcing yourself through exhaustion. You're choosing peace. You're choosing renewal. You're choosing what restores you. And God is walking with you through every step. You are not drained anymore. You are being rebuilt gently, slowly, truthfully. And this is only the beginning.